Saying no to social media. What would cause businesses to take a look at the opportunity to expand their marketing footprint and then look at the way that it's done and simply say, no, we're not interested? We've been working with clients with social media for years, and one of the things that we've found out each and every time is that people don't think that they have the time. They don't think it's worth bothering with. They question the value of what anybody will have to say or care about their business or service. The other thing is, many times businesses are afraid that what they're going to say is going to tick off a large amount of their consumer group. Let me give you a couple of tips as to why we think social media and business are a great fit, and that you should embrace social media just as quickly as you can. Number one is you don't have to do it all. There are multiple social media platforms out there, everything from blogs and Twitter and LinkedIn and YouTube and Pinterest, all kinds of things. You need to figure out which of those social media platforms is the very best for you. One may not be good for everything. I mean, you might want a Facebook post, which we think is a great idea for a business, but you may not want to do a blog. Or you may not really need a YouTube page, but you want to go ahead and do something on Pinterest. You've got to figure out what your consumers want, what your consumers are thinking about, and where they hang out at most of the time. Then you can tailor your social media strategy to them. The other thing is you got to have a plan. And we've talked about this before. You just don't jump on social media and do it without figuring out exactly what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Is it get more people in the door so that you can make more sales? Is it engagement of the brand? Perhaps you're launching a new product or service and you need people to find out more about you. You can choose. Again, you've got to have a plan in which to get there. We do recommend, however, that one of the things in social media that you do is utilize the power of a blog. Now, I know a lot of people indicate that blogs are old-fashioned and there's something that we just shouldn't deal with anymore, but we believe that the blog assists you in your SEO, in your search engine optimization. If you have a blog, you'll be able to be found much more quickly. And that's helpful for you and for your potential customers. With a blog, you can go ahead and share information with all kinds of people about what it is that what your voice is. And you can do it in 300 or 400 words. We always suggest that you do 3 times a week for at least 3 months before you give it up, okay? Also, get some help. If you don't know how social media is done, what we suggest to you is that you get some assistance out there and get some help. It doesn't have to be our agency. It can be anybody who's well connected with social media. But here's a buyer beware thing. If someone tells you that they're a social media expert, and then you go to their Twitter account and they've been tweeting for 6 months or a year and they do it maybe 2 or 3, 4 times a week, beware. Because they don't really understand how to utilize Twitter and they don't understand the blog. You just need to be concerned. If somebody is just a top flight person on Facebook, it doesn't mean that they have a good understanding of the other social media challenges. So again, just to recap, social media takes work. It's not free. You need to understand that. Social media takes work and it takes time. It's nothing that you can get discouraged about right away either. You've got to make it part of your daily plan, part of your daily marketing adventure. You need to take social media to a planning stage. Well before you launch into this, figure out who your customers are, and then figure out where they hang out and figure out what social media platform is the very best for you. And above all things, get some help when you're deciding to go into social media. It'll make the transition so much easier. If you've got a comment, you can go ahead and comment on Twitter. We do monitor at InsightADV. That's at InsightADV. Well, one of the reasons that sometimes social media people or businesses shun social media is because they take a look at huge mistakes that people sometimes do. And when social media goes bad, it can go bad in a real quick hurry. This is a story about a Cedar Rapids television station, KGAN, and the firestorm that they elicited last week when they posted a photograph that many animal rights people found offensive. Ryan, let's take a look at the photograph in question, and we'll give you the backstory about what all this is about as well. Now, this was on KGAN's Facebook page, and you can see we've got two bears riding horses. Now, the Facebook post says, if you've got a funny caption, go ahead and launch it. Well, first of all, you have to remember a couple of things here. Horses are flight or fright animals, and anytime you put a carnivore like a bear on the back of a horse, they're going to run. The backlash among animal activists was quick. Here's a quote from the Facebook post from KGAN. "You're journalistic morons, and whoever runs your Facebook page should be fired. First of all, you didn't attribute this photo correctly. You posted as if it were original content." Well, here's the backstory of this. It's a photo from China. It's a zoo in China. The foundation Animals Asia, based in Hong Kong with offices in Europe, the UK, and the US, has been working to expose and call an end to the brutalization of these animals during their tricks. And that's much more than, that's just one of dozens and dozens of comments. Well, here's the rest of the story behind this picture. The shocking photographs that KGAN used on their Facebook page came from the animal park in Fujian, southeast China, where the public seemed to delight in humiliating circus-style stunts and have no regard for animal cruelty. They tell us that conditions are poor with big cats, including lions, tigers, and leopards and other large animals, including bears, being kept in solitary confinement in tiny cages. At the Bear and Tiger Mountain Village in Gulan, live animals, now get this story, live animals are fed to tigers as a show for tourists. In a display in Chengcheng, a tiger is put into a cage with an ox while the tiger is muzzled, so it tries to attack its prey, but it cannot kill it, producing an agonizing and long, drawn-out battle. Congratulations, KGAN. That's exactly what happens when social media goes bad and you post something that you have no idea what the backstory is. And this is one of the reasons, kids, that people who are in business, they shudder at the thought of doing social media without having a complete understanding of who the consumer is. So how do you make sure that you break away from that problem? Let me give you a couple of tips. While you might think what you're writing or sharing is cute, will the vast majority of your constituents think the same way? You know, I would hasten to say that while some folks thought that picture was just cute and they were into the joke and they were going to do that, there was a large number of people who found it very offensive. And animal rights activists, at least in this state, are plenty. So before you're going to tick off half to a third of your constituency, you might want to rethink about that. Does it pass the mom test? My mom is, thank God, 93 years old, and I get to visit with her with regularity, every single day, as a matter of fact. I always think about when I'm posting something on Facebook or Twitter, even on my personal side, would it pass the mom test? If I could say it to mom and she wouldn't be shocked or embarrassed or upset, then I guess it's probably pretty safe to put it on social media. So always think about that. Would it pass the mom test? And if it passes the mom test, you're probably pretty well to go. And when in doubt, don't. You know, it's like having a couple of drinks, kids, and getting behind the wheel. You shouldn't be doing that. It's almost as bad as having a couple of drinks and getting behind your computer screen and putting out some things that you might find embarrassing somewhere down the line. We don't have to be reminded too many times of how many politicians have done just that thing. That's it. When social media goes bad, a great experience from our friends over at KGAN in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and the cruelty that goes on in China. When we come back, we're going to be taking a look at a brand new show that premiered last week on Iowa Public Television. It's called Bike People, and our friends at Bike World in Des Moines and in Ames are the stars of this thing. And all it does, it goes ahead and it tells the greatness of what it's like to bike in Iowa or anywhere. We'll take a look at that and much more when we come back. This is Insight on Business. We're powered by Webcast One Live. Back right after this.